everybody. Here we are, another episode of Late Night Baltimore. Like and subscribe if you like this. We're trying to get back in the swing of things here with this podcast. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is saw something on The Guardian I like to share. This is Al Gore giving a speech. It's about 3 years ago. I know it's about 3 months ago, sorry, but it's a good. Let's watch this clip here. It is see this here. Hold on now. Okay. This is from oldie but a goodie, or old buddy, Al Gore. He has some wise words. This was about 3 months ago.
We've already seen, by the way, how populist authoritarian leaders have used migrants as scapegoats and have fanned the fires of xenophobia to fuel their own rise to power. And power seeking is what this is all about. Our Constitution, written by our founders, is intended to protect us against a threat identical to Donald Trump, someone who seeks power at all costs to get more power. I understand very well why it is wrong to compare Adolf Hitler's Third Reich to any other movement. It was uniquely evil, full stop. I get it. But there are important lessons from the history of that emergent evil, and here is one that I regard as essential. In the immediate aftermath of World War II, a small group of philosophers who had escaped Hitler's murderous regime returned to Germany and performed a kind of moral autopsy on the Third Reich. The most famous of the so-called Frankfurt School of philosophers was a man named Jürgen Habermas, best known, I would say, but it was Habermas's mentor, Theodor Adorno, who wrote that the first step in that nation's descent into hell was, and I quote, the conversion of all questions of truth into questions of power. He described how the Nazis, and I quote again, attacked the very heart of the distinction between true and false, end quote. The Trump administration is insisting on trying to create their own preferred version of reality. They say Ukraine attacked Russia instead of the other way around, and expect us to believe it. At home, they attack heroes who have defended our nation in war and against cyber attacks as traitors.
All right, that was Al Gore. That was about 3 months ago, giving some very profound statements about the times we're living in. And that was outstanding from Al Gore there. Okay, now here's another thing we're going to look at. I saw this off of the Secular Talk with Kyle Kulinski and Chris, I think it's Kulinski as well. So Chris Cuomo, who works for Newsmax, I believe, fell for a deep fake video on that presented AOC saying things that she would never say and never did say. And then he tried to apologize in the weirdest way, but let's look at that. All right, we have here we go, and see what they're saying here.
7.5 people, give or take. And he does one of the non-apology apologies. Take a look at this.
All right, let's go back here where we're looking at this. Let's all right, this is what Christopher Cuomo saw
And the
this
American Eagle jeans.
and he said the response to this was he thought it was real. First of all, that's weird. And he said, nothing about Hamas or people burning Jews' cars, but Sweeney Jean's ad. Deserve time on the floor of Congress? What happened to this party? Fight for small business, not for smart culture wars. That's what Chris Cuomo said after watching this deep fake on AOC. Here it is.
Campaign is blatant Nazi propaganda. I mean, fuck. Watching that sultry little temptress squeeze into a Canadian tuxedo, 3 sizes too small, with her bouncy little fun bags on the screen staring at you, piercing through the core of your soul with those ocean blue eyes that could resurrect the Fuhrer from his grave in Argentina, is something that should alarm every American citizen. Because in America, beauty is not defined by whiteness. Oh no, it is defined by the number of victim groups of which you are a member. Skinny, attractive, blonde-haired, blue-eyed cisgender women descend from the slave daddy oppressors of this nation. And any man who cranks one out while thinking about a woman like this probably hates black people, probably hates gay people, and they certainly hate the diversity of our great nation. So I say, instead of simping for the Sydneys, we should be celebrating the Shaniquas. Instead of worshiping the hot, straight blonde, what about the obese alphabet, people with blue hair? They need love too. And to all the haters who say companies that go woke go broke, I'd rather be poor than a fucking Nazi.
All right, let's go back here, back a little bit. Okay, so AOC's response here was, this is a deep fake, dude. Please use your critical thinking skills. At this point, you're just reposting Facebook memes and calling it journalism. And also at the top here, it says parody 100% made with AI. So that was not a real thing AOC said. And so she wrote back to Cuomo and said, hey man, you're falling for some fake shit. And this is Cuomo's response to that. This is the worst apology ever.
I was wrong. I was tweeting today and saw a clip of AOC saying that Sydney Sweeney ad was racist. And so I replied to it and I said, why do you care about this and ignore what matters most? Why, in all the times that you've called on Israel to stop, why have you never told Hamas to stop, told Hamas to surrender? Why would you ignore the St. Louis attack on that Jewish guy who had his car bombed? AOC tweeted back and said, dude, that's a deep fake, that Sydney Sweeney ad. You suck, in so many words. And she was right. They got me. AI. It was really good, and it did seem like something she would say, but it wasn't her. So I thanked AOC for correcting me. But I then reminded her, she ignored the part of the tweet that mattered, okay? Not Sweeney, which really should have never been a thing, let's be honest. Why did AOC, the most popular Democrat in the country, powerful, reportedly ignore what I asked about calling on Hamas to surrender to end the war they started? She has never said that I could find. Think about that. She also ignored my question about saying nothing about the American IDF soldier who returned home only to have his car firebombed in America by anti-Semites. Why? Why wouldn't you say anything about that?
Well, I can answer that. She wouldn't say anything about that because she was responding to the fact that he fell for a deep fake thing that had a big parody sign up on top, and then your apology is pretending that it actually was a real thing. So you don't deserve any more than that, sir. That is very disgraceful and ridiculous, and you're an idiot. All right. Okay, and so now I saw a film. It's called Wajai. It's about 10 years old, I think, or older. It's about 12 years old. It was filmed in Saudi Arabia. It was the first film filmed entirely in Saudi Arabia ever, and it was filmed by a female director, and it's about a young girl who tries to be able to buy a bike and participate in a race to race males. And it's her and her family, and it's all the struggle she goes through for some of these rights. That's the themes of the film. Um, the woman's role in that society and how they're going to struggle and fight for individual rights. It's about a dozen years old. I'm not sure what it's like there in Saudi Arabia now, but still the film makes all its points. Great theme and beautifully directed film. I recommend. I think you can get it on Prime Video. Here, let's watch a trailer of that there film. And the funny thing was that the woman director had to do all the directing from inside a car. She couldn't be seen giving directions like it was against the law or something to males. All right, here's the trailer. Oh, wait, I'm singing. Oh, here I go again. Okay, there I go again with my bad technicals. Let's try that one more time. Share screen. Okay, watch this now. Let's start it all over.
وجدة تعال بسرعة.
There it is.
بكرة تعالي بعباية على الراس.
يما قبل الحصة قالت لي البس عباية على الراس واغطي وجهي.
حركات. طيب ايش رايك نزوجك؟
ما يضحك.
أقول وجدة غيري جزمتك المبهذلة هذه.
All right. Okay. All right, that's the film. Okay, look that up when you can. And that's all for today. We'll be back with more, and we're going to start on the Ravens because Ravens are already preseason. We'll go over all NFL stuff because that's what we like to do here. We're not just politics now. Okay, like, subscribe, comment, share, and watch because we need watching. All right, everybody. Like I said, like and subscribe. Like it seems to be the thing people are pushing now. We don't want to just be another dumb podcast show. We want to be the greatest podcast show in history. All right. Now, before we go, we will say, as always, F MAGA. That is our slogan here at Late Night Baltimore. So F MAGA, and we'll talk to you all next time. Good night.